Hey guys, it's Greg, and welcome back to another WordPress tutorial made easier for beginners. Today, we're going to learn how to set up self-hosted WordPress at HostGator so that you can make a blog or a website using the same amazing software that Forbes, Katy Perry, Time Magazine, Walt Disney, and more are using. HostGator has been our favorite web host we've trusted for almost a decade now, and they also have some of the web's best discounts on self-hosted WordPress that you can take advantage of if you're just starting out. You can complete this tutorial without any previous technology experience required, and everyone will walk away with a great looking website. Make sure to click Show More beneath the video to get additional notes where necessary on the steps we cover. Now just sit back, follow along, and let's get started. Okay, so to get started, it's really easy. Just scroll down beneath the video, and in the description, you'll see a link that says something like Get Started at HostGator, and just click on that link. Alright guys, so here we are at the HostGator India webpage. It's the same great hosting product that I use in America, but just on the Indian servers and potentially even better, faster, stronger. You get the web hosting in the upper left that we're going to go with. You get cloud, WordPress hosting, which we don't need. This is like just more deluxe features that work in WordPress, but you don't need this option and it costs more. Reseller, VPS dedicated. So I recently wrote a post about how I migrated from web hosting to VPS hosting if you're interested. So you get all the cool features that HostGator has always offered. And you get Snappy, so they're always here to help you. If you're this guy, you make a website, you're not sure what to do with your pretty website, and you're looking a little bit sad, they'll have your back. And most importantly right now, I like to read about Host in India, which is HostGator's new initiative to host things in India and just give people the best service locally. That includes the localized India hosting, local currency transactions like Amazon is doing now, local payment gateways, and then the S's of speed, security, savings, and support, so on and so forth. So you should read that if you have a moment. One of the coolest things is that the hosting is localized geo hosting. So that means they have more data centers in India. It means better servers and better load times. So your pages will load quick no matter where you are in India because they're expanding to hopefully make a data center near you, and that means that it's 30 times less latency than hosted in the US. So, as I thought, it's getting even stronger than what we got over here. Now let's see how to use it. So before we jump in, a lot of people always ask me, is HostGator just a budget web host? Are they just some budget service? And the answer is yes, but that's not a negative factor. HostGator has seriously been investing and doubling down in their quality of customer service, their technology, the uptime guarantee, technical support, all that. And they've been able to do that because they host way more domain names than the other guys. It's something like 9 or 10 million or even more now. So they have the capital to invest in better services, and they can keep the prices low. You're going to get the same WordPress.org site that the major brands use, like Forbes, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Walt Disney, all the big players use, but at a fraction of the cost. And when we make our website in the end, we'll see that there's nothing budget about it. I also like to tell people I've worked with a lot of different web hosts over the years, different, cheap hosts or fancy hosts or whatever. And a lot of the times I wonder why they're so confusing and it takes so long to get to the WordPress installation or find the domain names, for example, on these other hosts like Greenhost or B5 Hosting or Hosting Papa, whatever you want to call them, and those aren't real names. I'm just not going to actually say the names here because I don't want to badmouth them. But in HostGator, I've never had any problems. There's only a few buttons you need to click to get to the WordPress stuff, install WordPress, and then you're good to go. You just log in and blog and write content and post images and share them with family and do e-commerce, sell things, and whatever you want, you're good to go. So without further ado, let's see what those few buttons are to get started and to make a website in India. So to start, we can hover on web hosting, and then we're just going to click the Linux shared hosting. So they use fancy words like Cpanel, PHP, Apache, and more, but all you need to know is that Linux equals the most basic option for WordPress. Okay, so here we are, and here's Snappy looking pretty cool in his shades. And the first thing we're going to do in the powerful Linux web hosting section is just choose the Indian server location. Alright, so once you select that, you get to harness all the power of those local geo centers. And then we're just going to come down and look at our 4 pillars here. So we have starter, hatchling, baby, and business. And even though they recommend business, I'm going to go ahead and change that for us and say that we recommend starter. Now, why is that? Well, obviously it's the cheapest, and we just want to get WordPress up and running so you can test it out and create your own WordPress website to share with the world. So with starter, what do we get? We get a single domain name, we get storage, we get transfer, we get email accounts, blah, blah, blah. The most important thing to note is that the starter plan lets you host one WordPress website and a single domain name, whereas if you want to run many websites and many domain names, like a website for a family member, or maybe you have multiple businesses you want right now and you want to have like a .com and another .com and a .org, then you're going to want to go with the unlimited domains of the baby plan. However, it's really easy to upgrade. You can just ask a live chat to do that anytime. You just click on their sales chat button and get talking with them. So we don't need to do that for now. We want to keep our budget as low as possible, and that's why we're doing starter. And if you want to splurge a little more, you could get hatchling. That's what I started out with here on the American servers, and that's nice because it has unlimited disk space. But chances are you're not going to come close to using all your disk space right away. So 10 gigs is pretty good. Alright, so let's proceed and let's choose our starter plan and get cracking. We just click buy now on starter, and then we get prompted to select our domain name for our hosting plan. Alright. And if you have one already, like if you already bought one from GoDaddy, for example, that's just fine. You just click yes and write it in the next stage. But for now, we want to start a totally fresh website, so we're going to get a domain name from HostGator. We're just going to click no. We don't have a domain name, and we'll get to enter in our new domain name idea after we click this. Alright, so let's do so. And our domain name for this tutorial is just yourkindoflove.com, because your website should be your kind of love. It should be something that you love forever. And we can choose the different extensions here, lots of options. Alright, so we're just going to stick with .com if we can, because it's the most valuable. If you ever want to sell your website someday, you're going to want to have the .com to get the most dollars for your hard work. Alright, and we're going to uncheck the other stuff because we're on a budget, and click continue. Alright, now you'll be taken to the domain selection screen. We just need to confirm that we're going to add to cart our domain name at the top right here. Alright, it's available, thankfully, and we'll just click on this green cart right there. Alright, and if you didn't get the domain name you want, if it's not available, just go ahead and search and try again. And let me know in the comments if you need any tips on how to pick that right domain name, because I have a couple formulas that could be handy. And we'll check out now. Okie dokie, so here we are in our HostGator order summary. And now it's really important just to get the terms right, the duration, that is, duration, term, same thing. And so I always like getting the domain name for 1 year, because that's the lowest possible option, and we don't get a discount for getting the domain name for any longer. Alright, and that's cool. And then we're going to get the privacy protect option, which is your contact information by enabling privacy protect. Now, that just means that when people look at your domain name, that they won't be able to see your private information, like your name and your phone number and stuff. So if you are worried about that, then you can pay for this. I generally trust people. I think people are pretty honest, and I'm not too worried. So I'd rather just keep that money in my pocket. So I'm going to trash that. Okay, perfect. And then next we have the single domain name Linux hosting. That's the hosting we need. And that's exactly what we want. Alright, so our domain name is our address on the web. Our hosting is like a plot of land. Combined, these two things are a match made in heaven, and they're the perfect foundation for a new website. Alright, but we don't know if we want our website for 5 years. We might just want it for 1 year or 1 month, for example. So just to explain the numbers and the pricing you'll see here for you, if you choose 5 years, That's going to be 299 rupees times 12 times 5. All right, so 12 months, 5 years, and that number will get you to the 17,940 number. All right, but we're going to have a discount option below, which is going to drop it to whatever number you see right here, which is not crossed out. So this number, the 299, is the original cost, which becomes 17,940, and that gets crossed out and reduced based on whatever you have in your discount section right here. All right, so now we need to maximize our discount. So at 5 years, we get 50% off shared and WordPress hosting. We're just getting shared hosting, so that discount applies. But what if we choose the 1 year duration? And what happens then as far as our discount? So if we do that option, then we're going to see that the coupon, which says up to 50% off on shared and WordPress hosting, is actually only worth 20% because the original price is 3,588 rupees and the new price becomes 2,878.4 rupees. All right, and if you do the math on that, you can see that the total that we pay, the 2,870.4 divided by 3,588 is going to be exactly 80%, which means that we would get 20% off for the 1 year duration instead of 50% off for the 5 year duration. All right, so I just wanted to illustrate a point to you that if you register a longer duration, you'll get a better value and more savings. That's why I like doing at least 1 year of hosting instead of the 6 month or the 3 months or so on and so forth. However, if you really find yourself on a tight budget, then getting 1 month of hosting and WordPress is way better than not getting it at all. So that would be good as well. So it is totally up to you. If you're the kind of person that likes getting a discount no matter what, then the 1 year option I think is going to feel good. But if you want to just spend the least amount of money possible today, then you can go with the lesser months, like 1 month. That's perfectly satisfactory. We can try out WordPress. I think you'll love it, and that's in fact the plan that we're going to go with today. All right, now we're just going to click continue. And now it's time to just create an account. All right, so it's going to ask us if we have one, but we don't. So we're just going to want to click create an account. All right, this part's super easy. Just go ahead and pop in your full name and your address here. All right, we're going to pop in our state and get this done quickly. All right, guys, and I might have to blur out my phone number and this other information here just so everyone doesn't call me about the secrets to blogging success or something like that. That's what those YouTube comments are for. So we're just going to check that box and come down and click some user information in here, just like you would anywhere else online. And now just check this box and we're going to create an account. Okay, great. We got the check mark for 1, done. Check mark for 2, done. And now it's time to go to payment options number 3. So we're going to choose how to pay for our new account. You can see HostGator is very accommodating. They want you to host in India and they try to give you the most convenient options of anywhere online so that you can get this done, well, easily wherever you do your banking. So I very much like the PayPal Express checkout and I'm going to try that option. All right, but up to you. And we're just going to click agree. Boom. So by the way, if you had a credit card, you could do this option number 2, which is net banking, debit card, credit card. Very cool. And now we're just going to click pay now and make our order. So now let's log in to our PayPal. We hope we have some money left. Okay, so the merchant here says that they've translated the cost into dollars. It's very nice of them. And we're going to pay it with our PayPal balance. But in fact, I'm realizing now that this option would work great too for the Visa credit card or your debit account, whichever is good. You have those options here too. But I've got a little bit of cash from WordPress theme sales lying around in my PayPal, so might as well use that, otherwise I'll forget about it. So we're just going to click pay now. Okay, got the notification. Beautiful, congratulations. It says thank you, your payment was successful. And when you see this screen, it means it's time to check your email. Okay, so here we are in my inbox, and if you just registered hosting, you might get a lot of emails like this. We're going to skip these guest post inquiries at the top, and we're going to see that we have all these emails from HostGator. Depending on how you got set up, you might have different emails, but either way, you want answers, and you probably just want to install WordPress. So that's our main goal right now. So let's look at the emails we need to look at, and the other ones we can just avoid. All right, so we're going to start at the bottom. We have our customer sign up email. We can click that one. And right away, they want us to verify email address. All right. So that's pretty easy. We can just click on the verify email address button. All right, verified successful, thank you. And then at the very top of the list of HostGator emails, you're going to see an email from HostGator.in sales, and it'll say completed. So let's click on that completed option with the addition of single domain name. And now if you get the red headers and the links, then you know you're in the right place. So in order to access our website, we need to follow these steps. It says your website is accessible immediately through the temporary URL. That's fine. We don't want to do that though. What we want to do is actually manage your website. We want to go to this lower section, and we want to click on the URL here, the third one. So there's a URL with the IP, there's a URL with the Cpanel link, and a URL with the long link, and they apparently do the same thing. We're going to click on the longer one though. Alright, and so this will take us to our Cpanel. So for now we want to be in Cpanel, and that's because they've given us a nice username and a password that we can use to proceed. So let's go ahead and copy the password. Just highlight it and copy. And I can remember the username, which is your kick1 without the 1. Yours might be different. Sometimes they set up a different trendy username. And I'll paste in the password. And the beauty is now we can log into Cpanel, which is how professional web designers will install WordPress for you. Okay, at the top is a attention message that we can disregard, because right now we want to proceed as quick as possible and install WordPress onto your domain and hosting. So what do we need to do now? What we need to do is come down, and we're going to click on in the Softalicious apps installer section. This is how all the pros do it in India. It's how everyone installs their WordPress, Joomla, Abenticart, PrestaShop, Joomla, other Joomla, whatever you want to do. There are so many CMSs you can install with just a click of a button. But for now, we want to install the number one option on the far left side, which is WordPress. So just click on WordPress. Okay, so now on the WordPress screen, you can read some details about what WordPress is, but right now we're sure we want to use it. All right, and there's a lot of buttons you might click, but the easiest option to install the entire version of WordPress.org is just to click on the drop-down arrow up here and click Quick Install. So let's do it. Now on this screen, you're going to see Software Setup. So the steps you need to do are pretty simple, but you can get a little confused if you don't know what to do, so I'll walk you through all of them, of course. Just make sure you have your domain name selected here and not this funky longer domain name. Next, in the directory box, you want to delete what's here. Any words that are here, just get rid of them and make sure this is completely blank. That makes sure that WordPress is installed on your domain name and not on some longer version of your domain name, which would make it harder for people to find. Alright, so once you've deleted that box, come down to your admin account, and admin username should just be whatever you want. We can change that from admin to, usually just first name is good, or maybe you have some online alias. This is what WordPress will show as like blog post by this person or page created by this person. So make it professional, don't make it your old AOL Instant Messenger. And admin password. Alright, so we can change that as well. Alright, and don't steal my password, but that's just what I'm going to go with now so that we can all remember it for this tutorial. Alright, last but not least, in admin email, just pop in your email of choice because you want the WordPress login details emailed there and all the important information so you can save it. Then where it says select plugins, this is just an option to auto install this one plugin, but we don't really want it. So we're all done on this screen. I am just going to copy our email address and put it in the lower box too so that the installation details definitely get emailed to us. And once your screen looks like mine, except for with your information in there, should be good to go. Just come down and click on the blue install button, and this is where you have to know all sorts of code: PHP, Java, HTML, syntax, Python. Just kidding, you don't need to know any code because we're doing the famous one-click installation. Alright, if you're ready, let's do it. Alright, my friends, congratulations, the software was installed successfully. And what do we do now? Well, we could tweet about it, but instead we just want to do a quick view of your WordPress site and see if we can actually use it, or if we need to wait a little bit longer for your files to settle into place. That's pretty common as well. So what we can do is just open a new browser tab and we can check out the site. Alright, and it might say under construction. That's totally normal. However, after I just deleted my browser cache there, we got to view our site. And I did that using the browser cache extension from Chrome. Show you which one it is. It's just called Clear Cache Shortcut, added to Google Chrome web browser. You can clear your cache in any browser though, like Internet Explorer, Opera, Firefox. They all have that feature. Just go to your settings. It's an important step for sure in web developing because it makes sure that you're seeing the most current version of what we're working on. And in this case, it's just a totally fresh version of our new WordPress website. If you successfully deleted your browser cache, or I guess cache as some people like calling it, but it doesn't work, then drop me a comment below and I'll help you figure it out. Also, if you bought your domain name somewhere else at a different registrar online, you're going to need to do one additional step. That would be managing your name servers. To do that, just come back to your email and it's going to say up above that section we were just in, it's going to say accessing your website. Alright, and then below it, it's going to say changing your name servers. And then you're going to see using your own DNS service, which will apply to you only if you bought your domain name somewhere other than HostGator, like at GoDaddy, Namecheap, iPage, or a different registrar. If that's your case, click on this link and follow the steps to go ahead and enter in your HostGator name servers at your different domain name registrar, and then go ahead and save them to successfully connect your domain name to your hosting. Again, let me know any questions down below in the comments, please. It would be my pleasure to help out, and I don't want anyone to get stuck. Okay, for now we can see our website here, so why don't we go ahead and continue along with the tutorial. Back on our Softaculous email, we can see instructions to log in with the link provided. But just for good old-fashioned sake, let's type it in ourselves. So we want to visit yourdomainname.com or .net or .org, whatever you got, /wp-admin to log in and hit enter. Beautiful. Welcome to the WordPress login screen that everyone from Forbes, Jay-Z, Katy Perry, Beyonce, Time Magazine, everyone sees to log in, even though they might have a custom WordPress login screen, which you can make later. Then we're going to go back to our email, and by now, hopefully WordPress has sent us our login instructions. Alright, so if they haven't, you might need to just check the spam. And here we can see in our spam folder from Softaculous, the new installation of WordPress. So it might get trapped in there. Make sure to check your spam, guys. And right away we can see we have a new WordPress installation, a link and a password. Okay, and I just wanted to show you that you got this email, even though our password is start out here. We remember it because we just created that new password, 1Password, when we installed WordPress. We're just gonna get this out of the spam folder. And now we can go back to our login screen and just pop in our username and our password that we created when we installed WordPress. If you forgot that password, by the way, you can go to your Softaculous again, this screen. Just click on Softaculous in the upper left. Give them your password one more time if your token expired. Then you can just click on your installation section. We can see we have 2 of them. You'll probably just have 1 though. And under the proper installation right here, which is just your domain name, you can come on over to the right and click on the edit pencil. And then from this screen, you can scroll down and give yourself a new admin password right here. And then you would just save installation details, and then you should be good to go. For now, let's just log in with the information we have here. And if you'd like, you can have WordPress remember you and log in. Alright, so a very warm and hearty welcome to WordPress for your first time. When you log in, you'll be taken to your dashboard, as it's called through all of WordPress. And we can just dismiss some notifications. So you're not going to see a whole lot here, but what we are looking at is the back end of your site. And if you click in the upper left where you see the home icon and your site title, then it'll take you to the front end of your new WordPress blog or site. So this is how the world sees it. This is how you can look at the stuff you made and see if it worked and everything like that. And then you can click in the upper left again to go back to your dashboard. Some of these links are a little bit redundant, like if you click on home, it'll take you to your dashboard, and if you click on dashboard, it'll also take you to your dashboard. And if you're on the front end and you hover up and you click dashboard, it's the same as just clicking on the site title right here itself. So that's how to get from the front end to the back end. We can now do a quick tour of WordPress. So if you click on posts, you can see WordPress gave you a demo blog post. We can open it up and see that it's just some content that the WordPress team wrote for us. Pretty nice. You can edit it or delete it. And if we click posts again, we can go back to that list of posts. So why don't we trash the sample post? Thanks anyways WordPress for making it, and click add new. And now we can really easily create just a welcome to the blog post, which I think users like seeing. Lets them know that you're thinking of them and that you're going to give them a little hello message along with details as to what they can expect when they visit your blog. Alright, so now you know how to make a blog post in WordPress. If you want to add an image to your WordPress blog post, just put your cursor wherever you want the image to go. For example, at the top of the post, and hit enter to give yourself a space for the image. Now just click add media, and in the upload files tab, we can upload some stuff from your computer. Just click select files. Alright, then we can search for the image we want. And I had one of my buddies make this nice cartoon couch picture. I'm gonna open it up. And there's our image. Now we just need to choose how it aligns. So none will make it float on top of the text, or you can choose left or right to have the text wrap around it like a newspaper. You can choose how it links. None's good. And then the size. I always like going with the full size image, and then insert into post. Alright, we can also click on our image and drag on the right in those white boxes and just size it down a little. Alright, super cool. The last thing our blog post needs before we publish is a category. So on the lower right over here, just click add new category. And that way you can start to organize your posts based on the keywords that they're about. So this one is just a welcome, or maybe better would be updates. And then we click add new category. And now let's try and publish. Alright, cool. So now when you check out your blog using the button in the upper left, you scroll down, you should see our first post here, replacing that default WordPress post. And we can click and open it. And here we are. Alright, so this is us. People can comment. Really cool. Your first blog post is now live for the world. Great job. Now continuing along with our tour, let's click back to the dashboard and let's check out pages. So if we click on pages, and by the way, the photo just goes in media. That's what media is. It's all sorts of photos and PDFs and videos you upload to WordPress. But like I said, let's go to pages, and we can see that we have some sample pages from WordPress already. We're just going to delete the sample page, and we're going to check out the privacy policy to see what that says. So that's pretty cool. This is from WordPress and HostGator, and that'll just help you be super transparent with your users. We can keep that one for now because it just saves us time later. Big thanks to HostGator for setting that up for us, and now you can have your lawyers, or if you're your own lawyer, that's great, just read this, and whenever you're ready, just publish it on your site or add to it, and so on. All right, so let's add a page that's a little more fun though, like an about page. Just click add new. Super easy. We're just gonna say about us, and then here you could put like images or videos, whatever. I'm just gonna show you how to insert a video. You can just go to YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you get your videos from. And so I can click on like this video, the newest one. And now you get to hear me inside of a video. To share a video, you just want to click on share on YouTube, and then you can come down and in the share link section, I like going with embed. Just click embed, and then click on the iframe in the right over here. One click should do it. It'll highlight the iframe, and now just right click, copy it. And when you come back to your post, you can click on your text tab, which is where you put any code from sites like Facebook or Google, or if you want to try writing your own code, you can go here. But visual is just where the words go, like Microsoft Word. Because it's an iframe code, it has to go in the text tab. Just right click and paste. Cool, and now we can just click publish. So really simple page, and we're going to make some more edits to the about page after we install our new theme. Additional fun fact is when you paste in iframes from YouTube, you're giving that video a little bit of SEO juice from your site. So it's kind of like a vote saying that that's a good video, and it might help that video rank a little bit better in YouTube search. Okay, let's come down now, and we're going to skip comments because I don't think we have any yet. It's kind of lonely. We're going to do appearance later when we install our theme, and for now I just want us to click on plugins. What we're going to do here is just make sure we all have the same plugins installed so that we're all literally on the same page and have a blank slate to make our website. So our WordPress in this case came with 2 plugins, and if you see different ones, I want you to just delete them for now. There's no harm deleting a plugin, especially if it is a free WordPress plugin, because you can always just install it later on with no harm done by clicking the add new button at the top. So for now, I'm just going to activate Akismet. That's the free spam protector from WordPress, which will make life a lot easier for you when you start getting comments to make sure they're real comments. And we're going to activate Hello Dolly. Hello Dolly is just a cute plugin by the founder of WordPress, Matt Mullenweg. Thanks a lot, Matt, for all you've done. And this one just gives us this cute quote up here from one of Matt's favorite songs. All right, so I always like having that there. You don't have to, though, if you don't want. All right, very good. So if you have these 2 plugins, you're all set. Let me know any questions you have about other plugins. You might see that different versions of WordPress or different hosts even would have put in there for you, and I can tell you if you need them or not. We'll be getting more plugins later. Next, we can click on users, and here you should just see yourself, and that's just my Gravatar because I put in the email, and WordPress is connected with this software called Gravatar, which just pulls in your image. So this would be where you could also change your password. Click on your name, bada bing, bada boom, generate password. Right over here for a new one. I don't want to do that now though because I like my password. And you can also change the screen complexion at the top. All right, pretty cool. I think default is good enough for us though. Now we can scroll down, and we're going to skip tools, although this is where you would import a version of WordPress if you came from WordPress.com, for example. And we're just going to click on settings. All right, leave here. In settings, you can change your site title. All right, so if we look at our site, this is our site title, and right below it is our site tagline. So we can easily change that to Your Kind of Love, and we can change that to Because It Should Be, shouldn't it? Or whatever you want to say. Next, in the section called WordPress address and site address, you can add a www if you want. Just make 110% sure that you add the www to both of these sections and they look exactly the same if you want to make any changes. If not, then the www will just redirect to this one, and that's how I want to keep it. Scrolling down, we have some other basic settings like how the date displays. Make sure that this box is unchecked unless you do want to create a membership website. And just click Save Changes. And when we refresh, we can see we've changed our site title and tagline. Good job. Now we'll just do one more step in our tour because I know everyone's excited to start building, and that would be to click on Permalinks. This section is actually really important. You just need to choose post name, and then save changes. And what this will accomplish for you is it'll make all of your links simple and Google friendly. As we can see with the post name setting, there's just a / and then some keywords after each of your links, as opposed to having a date, which can basically say that your page or your post is old as time goes on, or something even funkier like a question mark or an archives. You don't want any of that. You just want the keywords. It's great for having Google friendly links. So that's what it does, and let's just save changes. Alright guys, and one more super quick but super important part of our tour that I want to show you, and that's how to add a menu to your WordPress blog. So that'll help you find your pages, and to get a menu going, you just need to hover on Appearance and click Menus. So if you take a look at your site and you don't see any menu tabs or buttons beneath the header, that's because we're using the WordPress 2017 theme, and you need to actually create a menu to get little buttons to show up here, for example where my mouse is spinning. If you have a different theme attached to your site, then maybe there are some menu tabs here, but in any case it's always a good idea to create a custom menu for your WordPress blog or website. And by the way, I'll use those terms interchangeably, like blog, site, or website, because they're essentially the same thing in WordPress. So hop back over to menus and just give it a name like main menu and click create menu. Next, all you need to do is choose from your pages on the left by checkboxing them and clicking add to menu. And it'll come in where our menu is going to be created right here. So we just have the About Us page, that's perfect, but we also have another page which is our home page. And to get the home page in here, you want to click custom links, alright, and then just copy paste your domain name. So in menus, just come over to this URL box, delete the HTTP section, and just pop in your domain name. Alright, looks good, and we can give it a link text of home and add to menu. We can rearrange our menu items just by clicking on them and holding and dragging. And you can also create a drop down if you want by indenting them, but that wouldn't make sense right now. Next, give that menu a display location, top menu should do, and click Save Menu. And when we refresh our site now, we should see we have our own custom menu where new pages will fill in if you add them to the menu. Great job. Alright guys, that does it for our tour. I hope it feels good now knowing how to make some basic changes and edits to how your WordPress blog or website looks. And if it feels good to do that, it's going to feel really good to start building in the next section where we go ahead and change our entire look.